The dusty trail kicked up under my boots as I mounted the horse for the first time, my heart pounding not from fear of falling, but from the piercing stare of Jake, the rugged cowboy instructor whose eyes seemed to see right through my carefully constructed facade. Little did I know that in that moment, as he adjusted my stirrups with a touch that lingered just a second too long, I was stepping into a whirlwind that would unravel my entire life. By the end of that summer, I'd be forced to confront a truth that could destroy everything I held dear, or set me free in ways I never imagined. Riley Thompson had always been the picture of suburban perfection. Straight-A student turned corporate climber, living in a neat Chicago apartment with a view of the skyline that screamed success. But at 28, the cracks were showing. The endless board meetings and superficial dates with women his parents approved of left him hollow. A shell performing for an audience that included his conservative father, a retired military man, and his doting mother who still sent care packages of homemade cookies. Seeking escape, Riley signed up for a horse-riding retreat in rural Montana, figuring the wide-open spaces might fill the void he couldn't name. The ranch was a sprawling affair, owned by the Harlan family for generations. Jake Harlan, the lead instructor, was everything Riley wasn't. Tall, weathered from years under the sun, with calloused hands and a quiet intensity that commanded respect. At 32, Jake had taken over the family business after his father's passing, burying his own dreams of leaving the small town behind. Their first lesson was awkward. Riley fumbled with the reins, his city softness evident. "Relax, city boy," Jake said with a smirk, his voice low and gravelly. "Horses sense fear, and so do I." As days turned into weeks, the lessons evolved into something more. Jake's guidance wasn't just about riding. It was about control, trust, and letting go. They'd ride out at dawn, the Montana landscape unfolding like a painting, jagged mountains against endless skies. Conversations flowed easily. Riley shared his frustrations with corporate life, the pressure to marry and settle down. Jake listened, his responses measured, revealing bits of his own isolation. "Folks around here expect you to fit the mold," Jake said one evening as they watched the sunset from a hilltop. "Break it, and you're on your own." Riley felt a pull he couldn't ignore. It started with stolen glances, then a brush of hands while saddling up. One night, after a group bonfire, they lingered by the stables. The air was thick with unspoken words. "Why'd you really come here?" Jake asked, stepping closer. Riley's breath caught. "To find something real," he admitted. Their first kiss was tentative, born of desperation and discovery, under the stars that felt like witnesses to a forbidden act. But reality intruded swiftly. Riley's phone buzzed constantly with calls from his father, Richard, who viewed the retreat as a manly diversion but expected Riley back in the fold soon. "Don't go soft on me, son," Richard barked during one call. "We Thompsons are leaders, not dreamers." Riley hung up, guilt gnawing at him. He hadn't told anyone about his growing feelings, not even himself until now. Jake, too, carried burdens. A town rife with gossip, where being openly gay could mean losing the ranch to boycotts or worse. "I've seen friends run out," Jake confessed. "Can't risk it." The tension built during a trail ride gone wrong. A sudden storm spooked the horses, and Riley was thrown, landing hard. Jake was there in an instant, pulling him up, their faces inches apart in the rain. "You okay?" Jake's concern was raw, stripping away pretenses. In the shelter of a barn later, drying off, Riley confronted him. "This isn't just a fling, is it?" Jake hesitated, then shook his head. "No. But it can't be more. Not here." Riley returned to Chicago briefly for a family event, the weight of secrecy pressing down. His parents hosted a dinner, toasting his adventurous spirit. But inside, Riley wrestled with the truth. He was falling for Jake, a man, in a world that demanded otherwise. Back at the ranch, the affair deepened, stolen moments in hidden meadows where they shared dreams. Riley of escaping the city, Jake of modernizing the ranch. Yet, doubts crept in. Was this love or rebellion? One afternoon, Riley overheard a conversation that shattered his illusions. Jake was arguing with his sister who managed the books. "You can't keep this up," she said. "What if people find out?" Jake's response was a murmur, but Riley caught the fear. That night he pressed Jake. "Are we worth the risk?" Jake's eyes darkened. "I don't know if I can lose everything for this." The words stung, planting seeds of betrayal. As the summer peaked, Riley made a decision. He'd confront his feelings head-on. But a phone call from home changed everything. His father announced a surprise visit to the ranch. To see what all the fuss is about. Panic set in. How could he hide this? The stage was set for collision. Inner turmoil boiling over into inevitable conflict. Richard Thompson arrived like a storm cloud over the Montana plains, his rental SUV kicking up dust as he pulled into the ranch. Tall and imposing, with a military buzz cut that hadn't changed in decades. He clapped Riley on the back with forced enthusiasm. "This place'll toughen you up, son. None of that city nonsense." Riley forced a smile, his mind racing. Jake kept his distance during the tour, professional to a fault. But their eyes met across the corral, a silent plea hanging between them. Dinner that evening was a tense affair at the ranch house, hosted by Jake's family. Richard dominated the conversation, regaling tales of his army days and the importance of tradition. "Family first always," he said, raising a glass. Riley nodded, but inside he churned. Jake sat opposite, his jaw tight, avoiding Riley's gaze. Later, as guests dispersed, Richard pulled Riley aside. "That instructor, Jake, he seems solid. But watch yourself. Small towns breed odd types." The visit amplified Riley's internal storm. That night, alone in his cabin, he paced, torn between loyalty to his father and the undeniable pull toward Jake. Was loving Jake a betrayal of his upbringing? The next day, during a private lesson, Jake confronted him. "Your dad's here. This has to stop." Riley's heart sank. "Just like that? After everything?" Jake looked away, conflicted. "It's not that simple. I have the ranch, my family. You have your life back east." But fate intervened. While Richard explored the property, he stumbled upon Riley and Jake in a heated discussion by the stables. "What's going on here?" Richard demanded. Riley froze, but Jake stepped forward. "Just rider talk, sir." Richard's eyes narrowed, suspicion flickering. Later, alone with Riley, he probed. "Something off about that guy. You spending too much time with him?" Riley deflected, but the seed was planted. As Richard's stay extended, claiming he needed fresh air, the pressure mounted. Riley and Jake stole moments, but each one felt like a risk. One evening, hiking a trail, Jake opened up about his past. A high school crush that ended in violence, forcing him deeper into the closet. "I swore I'd never let it happen again," he said. Riley shared his own fears. Disappointing his parents, losing their approval. "They think I'm perfect, but I'm not." The turning point came during a town festival. The ranch sponsored a booth, and Richard insisted on joining. Amid the crowds, Riley saw Jake laughing with locals, but noticed the forced smiles when topics turned to family values. A drunk ranch hand made a crude joke about city boys, eyeing Riley. Tension escalated when Richard, overhearing, laughed along. Riley's blood boiled. That night, he confronted his father. "Why do you care so much about what people think?" Richard's face hardened. "Because reputation is everything. Don't throw yours away." Jake, sensing the rift, pulled away further. "This is tearing you apart," he told Riley. "Maybe it's not worth it." Hurt, Riley lashed out. "So you're giving up?" The argument echoed in the empty barn, words like daggers. Jake stormed off, leaving Riley alone with his thoughts. Was this love or destruction? Desperation led to a reckless choice. Riley confided in Jake's sister, seeking advice. She sympathized but warned, "Jake's been hurt before. Don't push him." Yet, the confession backfired when rumors spread. Subtle at first, whispers in town about unnatural friendships. Jake confronted Riley. "You told her? How could you?" Betrayal etched his face. "I thought I could trust you." The fallout was swift. Richard caught wind of the gossip, confronting Riley in a rage. Is it true? Are you one of them? Riley's silence was damning. After all we've done for you? Richard's disappointment cut deeper than anger. Riley fled to Jake, but found him packing. I can't stay if this blows up, Jake said. The ranch is all I have. In that moment, Riley realized the cost. His relationship with his father fracturing, Jake on the brink of leaving. The drama intensified as Richard demanded they leave immediately. We're going home. Now. But Riley refused, choosing to stay and fight, for what he wasn't sure. The decision marked a point of no return, inner conflicts exploding into open wounds. The ranch felt like a pressure cooker after Richard's ultimatum. Riley stood his ground, watching his father drive away in a cloud of dust, the SUV's taillights fading like a severed lifeline. You're making a mistake, Richard had shouted. This phase will ruin you. Alone now, Riley sought Jake, finding him in the hayloft, staring at the horizon. He's gone, Riley said. Jake's response was cold. But the damage is done. Rebuilding trust was arduous. Jake avoided lessons, assigning Riley to another instructor. Days blurred into isolation, Riley riding solo, his mind a battlefield of regret and resolve. Why had he confided? Was it selfishness, or a cry for help? Nights brought sleepless torment, replaying his father's words. The man who'd raised him, taught him right from wrong, now viewing him as wrong. Society's weight pressed in. In town for supplies, Riley overheard slurs at the diner. Harlan's got a queer on staff? Eyes followed him, judgment thick as the coffee. Back at the ranch, Jake's sister pulled him aside. It's getting bad.
Client canceling.
Riley's guilt swelled. Had his pursuit of authenticity doomed Jake's livelihood? A confrontation was inevitable. One stormy afternoon, Riley cornered Jake in the tack room. We need to talk. Jake's eyes flashed. What's left to say? You outed us. Riley defended himself. I didn't mean to. I was scared. The argument escalated, voices rising over thunder. Scared? Try living here your whole life. Hiding, Jake yelled. In the heat, truths tumbled out. Jake's fear of abandonment, Riley's resentment toward his upbringing. The storm outside mirrored their turmoil, but as rain pounded the roof, walls cracked. Jake admitted, I love you, but love isn't enough against this. Riley's heart ached. Then what is? They didn't kiss, too raw, but sat in silence, a fragile truce forming. Riley decided to stay longer, helping with chores, proving commitment. Jake softened, sharing more. His father's disapproval before death, the inheritance tied to upholding values. Family pressures resurfaced when Riley's mother called, tearful. Your father's heartbroken. Come home. Riley wavered. I can't pretend anymore. Her response stung. Is it that man? Think of us. The call ended in stalemate, Riley questioning his choices. Was staying defiant or destructive? High drama unfolded during a ranch crisis. A fire broke out in a barn, sparked by lightning. Chaos ensued, horses panicking, flames licking wood. Riley and Jake worked side by side, herding animals to safety. In the frenzy, Jake was trapped under debris. Riley rushed in, pulling him free, smoke choking them. Coughing, safe outside, Jake gripped Riley's arm. You saved me. Adrenaline-fueled confession. I can't lose you. The fire destroyed part of the ranch, insurance battles looming. Blame shifted. Rumors claimed sabotage over lifestyle choices. Jake faced a town meeting defending his business. Riley attended, heart pounding. When a bigot accused, your kind brings trouble, Riley stood. His kind? He's a good man. The room hushed. Jake's eyes met his, gratitude mixed with fear. The incident forced decisions. Jake considered selling, escaping judgment. Start over somewhere tolerant. Riley offered support. I'll go with you. But doubts lingered. What about his career? His family? A letter from Richard arrived. If you choose this path, you're no son of mine. The ultimatum crushed Riley, tears flowing in private. Betrayal struck again when Jake's ex, a closeted local, resurfaced. Jealous, he spread vicious lies, amplifying gossip. Jake confronted him, fists nearly flying. "Why now?" The ex sneered. "You think you can have it all?" The encounter left Jake shaken, questioning everything. Riley comforted him, but sensed withdrawal. "Maybe we're fooling ourselves," Jake said. As tensions peaked, Riley made a bold move. He called his father, pleading understanding. "Dad, this is who I am." Richard's silence was deafening. Then, "I need time." It wasn't acceptance, but a crack. Inspired, Riley urged Jake to fight for the ranch. "We face this together." Jake agreed, but the cost was evident: lost friends, strained relations. The chapter closed on uncertainty, high stakes hanging. Riley realized love demanded sacrifice. But how much? The awakening was painful, forcing him to weigh heart against heritage. Repercussions from the fire rippled through the community, turning whispers into outright hostility. Jake's ranch lost half its bookings, locals boycotting in moral protest. Riley dove into damage control, using his business acumen to seek new clients online, targeting urban adventurers. "We can rebrand," he told Jake. "Make it inclusive." Jake was skeptical. Inclusivity here means backlash. Inner conflicts deepened. Riley dreamed of his parents' disapproval, waking in sweats. Jake battled depression, the ranch his father's legacy now tainted. "He'd be ashamed," Jake muttered. Their relationship strained under pressure, arguments over next steps, each decision a potential minefield. One night, Riley suggested moving to Chicago. "Start fresh." Jake recoiled. "Leave my home? For what? Your world." A surprise visit amplified the drama. Riley's mother arrived unannounced, her face lined with worry. "I couldn't stay away. Over coffee," she confessed. "Your father's struggling, but I want to understand." Riley introduced her to Jake cautiously. The meeting was awkward, politeness masking tension. "He's kind," she said later. "But privately, think of the grandchildren we dreamed of." Riley's resolve wavered. Was he selfish? Society's claws dug in during a confrontation at the local bar. A group of ranchers cornered Jake. "Your boyfriend's ruining you." Fists flew. Riley intervened, taking a punch. Bruised, they retreated. "This has to end," Jake said, bandaging Riley. But the incident sparked fire in Riley.
No.
"We fight back." Moral dilemmas arose when Jake received an offer to sell. Lucrative, it tempted. "We could escape," he said. Riley saw the appeal but argued. Running admits defeat. The debate raged, exposing cracks. Jake's fear of poverty, Riley's guilt over causing it. In a moment of vulnerability, Jake revealed a past suicide attempt after his crush's rejection. "I won't go there again." Riley held him, promising strength. Betrayal hit hardest from within. Jake's sister, overwhelmed, urged him to end it. "For the family." Jake confided in Riley, torn. "She's right." "Hurt," Riley accused. "So you'll abandon us?" The fight escalated, Riley storming out. Alone on a ridge, he contemplated leaving. But dawn brought clarity. He loved Jake enough to let go, if needed. Reconciliation came unexpectedly. Jake found him apologizing. "I can't lose you too." They recommitted, planning a community event to rebuild trust. A charity ride for fire victims. Preparation was grueling, but united them. Riley's mother stayed, helping, her presence a bridge. She shared stories of Richard's own hidden struggles, a lost brother to similar prejudices. "He's scared for you." The event day arrived tense. Crowds gathered, some supportive, others hostile. A protester shouted slurs, but allies countered. Jake addressed the group. "This ranch is for everyone." Riley stood beside him, proud. Success followed, donations poured in, clients returned. But victory was bittersweet. A reporter outed them in a local paper, framing it as controversial. Family mending began when Richard called. "Your mother's updates. I'm trying." Not full acceptance, but progress. Riley wept, relief mixing with pain. Jake's family rallied too, his sister apologizing. I was wrong. Yet, damages lingered. Lost friendships, scarred reputations. Riley quit his job remotely, committing to the ranch. This is my life now. Jake's gratitude was profound, but he warned, it's not easy. The transition tested them, cultural clashes, financial strains. As summer waned, a final twist. Jake proposed a partnership, business and personal. Marry me when we can. Riley accepted, but reality hit. In Montana, legal battles loomed amid conservative laws. The decision ignited debates within right or rash. The awakening culminated in reflection. Riley realized choices defined him, each with a price. Lost innocence, gained authenticity. But was the toll worth it? With the ranch stabilizing, Riley and Jake navigated their new reality, a fragile balance of love and survival. Daily life brought small victories. A supportive client group, Jake's innovative trail programs drawing diverse riders. But shadows persisted. Riley's parents visited sporadically, Richard's interactions stiff but improving. I'm learning, he admitted once over a campfire. Yet unspoken judgments lingered, testing Riley's patience. Societal pushback intensified with a lawsuit from a disgruntled former client, claiming moral discomfort. The case dragged, draining resources. Jake bore the brunt, his confidence waning. Was this inevitable? He asked Riley. Together, they prepared, hiring a lawyer who specialized in LGBTQ rights. Court days were grueling, testimonies exposing vulnerabilities. Riley spoke on the stand. Love doesn't harm anyone. The judge ruled in their favor, but the win felt hollow, reputation tarnished further. Inner awakenings deepened. Riley journaled his journey, confronting suppressed desires from youth. I hid to please others, he wrote. Jake shared therapy sessions addressing trauma. Their bond strengthened through honesty, but not without cost. Friends distanced, family gatherings awkward. Riley's cousin cut ties, calling it unnatural. The isolation hurt, forcing reliance on each other. A major confrontation arose when Richard relapsed into anger during a visit. This lifestyle, it's a choice, he exploded after seeing them hold hands. Riley countered calmly. It's who I am, Dad. Accept or not. The argument peaked with Richard storming out, but he returned hours later. I don't understand, but I love you. Tears flowed, a breakthrough born of pain. Jake faced his own family reckoning. His uncle, a silent partner, threatened to pull funding. Not under my name. Jake stood firm. Then buy me out. The negotiation was tense, Jake sacrificing shares for freedom. Worth it, he told Riley. The trade-off, financial strain but autonomy. Drama climaxed in a personal betrayal. An old flame of Jake's, now out and vengeful, leaked private emails to the press. Headlines screamed scandal, amplifying scrutiny. Clients fled again. Riley felt rage. How could he? Jake, devastated, retreated. My past catching up. They weathered the storm publicly, issuing a statement. We're human, deserving privacy. The experience forced growth. Riley advocated locally, joining LGBTQ groups, turning pain into purpose. Jake modernized the ranch, hosting inclusive events. Success trickled back, but scars remained. Trust issues, anxiety spikes. As autumn leaves fell, they married quietly in a progressive town nearby. Witnesses few but meaningful. Riley's parents attended. Richard's handshake with Jake a silent olive branch. Vows exchanged under golden light, promising endurance. But reality intruded post-honeymoon. A hate crime nearby, vandalizing a similar business. Fear resurfaced. Is this our future? Riley wondered. Reflecting on the journey, Riley pondered the prices paid. Fractured families, lost security, emotional wounds. Yet, gains shown, authenticity, love, resilience. Jake echoed, we chose us. The story closed on a crisp evening, riding together. No regrets? Riley asked. Jake smiled. None. But in quiet moments, doubts whispered. Had they chosen rightly? Was sacrificing family ties and societal acceptance for personal love ultimately the moral choice, or a selfish act that perpetuates division?